What if I told you that some vegetables once grown in American backyards were so deadly they're now banned by law? While you're tending your tomatoes, families used to cultivate plants that could kill with a single bite. These weren't weeds. They were actual vegetables that American gardeners grew for food, completely unaware they were planting death traps in their own yards. Vegetable number 25, pokeweed, Phytolacca americana. Picture this, it's 1935, and your grandmother is out in her garden picking what she calls poke salad for Sunday dinner. This tall plant with deep purple berries was considered a delicacy across the South, especially in spring when families would harvest the young shoots and boil them up like spinach. Those dark purple berries look exactly like the kind of wild grapes kids love to snack on. Here's the terrifying truth. Every single part of this innocent-looking plant is loaded with deadly poison. The roots alone contain enough toxin to drop a grown man in his tracks. As word spread about families getting violently ill after their traditional poke salad dinners, state after state began banning this killer plant. Today, if authorities find you growing pokeweed intentionally, you could face serious fines. Vegetable number 24, Castor Bean, Ricinus communis. Back in the 1940s, these exotic-looking plants were the pride of American gardens. With their huge tropical leaves and spiky red seed pods, castor beans made any backyard look like a botanical paradise. Families from coast to coast grew them as conversation pieces, completely unaware they were cultivating one of nature's most efficient killing machines right next to their prize-winning roses. Those innocent-looking seeds hiding inside the decorative pods, each one is a tiny bomb packed with enough poison to kill a full-grown adult. We're talking about the same deadly substance that spy agencies researched as an assassination weapon during World War II. The plant that once made American gardens look exotic and sophisticated is now banned in most states because no garden decoration is worth a child's life. Vegetable number 23, Jimson weed, Datura stramonium. They called it devil's trumpet, and that name should have been the first warning. But back in colonial times and well into the 1900s, American gardeners grew this plant for its large white trumpet-shaped flowers that opened at night. Some folks even used it in folk remedies, thinking they were being smart about natural medicine. This plant doesn't just kill you, it tortures you first. People who accidentally consumed Jimson weed described terrifying hallucinations that lasted for days, seeing things that weren't there and completely losing touch with reality. The plant got its nickname Jamestown weed, after British soldiers accidentally ate it and spent days acting like complete lunatics. Today, Jimson weed is banned as a dangerous weed in most states. Vegetable number 22, water hemlock, Cicuta maculata. Here's the plant that holds the terrifying title of most violently toxic plant in North America. Early American settlers sometimes mistook it for wild parsnip or other edible plants, especially when it grew near their vegetable gardens in wet areas. Within 2 hours of eating it, victims would have violent seizures that wouldn't stop, with no antidote and no hope of survival. The most heartbreaking cases involved children who used the plant's hollow stems as whistles or pea shooters, not knowing they were putting deadly poison directly in their mouths. Even tiny amounts of the plant's sweet-smelling sap could kill a child within hours. Today, water hemlock is so feared that if you find it on your property, you're supposed to call agricultural authorities for professional removal. Vegetable number 21, foxglove, Digitalis purpurea. For generations, foxglove was the crown jewel of American cottage gardens. Those tall, elegant spikes covered in tubular purple, pink, or white flowers made any garden look like something from a fairy tale. Grandmothers grew it not just for beauty, but because old-timers swore it could fix heart problems. not knowing they were growing a plant that could stop hearts just as easily. The cruel irony is that foxglove actually does contain compounds that affect the heart, which is why modern medicine uses purified versions in heart medications. But the raw plant is like playing cardiac roulette. One day you might chew a leaf and feel fine, the next day the same amount could kill you. Today, most states restrict or ban foxglove cultivation, especially anywhere children might encounter it. Vegetable number 20, monk's hood, Aconitum napellus. They called it wolf's bane because European folklore claimed it could kill werewolves. American gardeners should have paid attention to that name because monkshood is one of the most lethal plants ever cultivated in backyard gardens. With its striking blue-hooded flowers, it was a prized perennial in northern gardens, especially among families who brought European gardening traditions to America. Here's what makes monkshood absolutely terrifying. You don't even have to eat it to die. Just handling the plant with bare hands can kill you. The poison soaks right through your skin, attacks your nervous system and heart, and there's no antidote. Today, monkshood is banned in most states, and any gardener who encounters it should call hazardous plant removal specialists. Vegetable number 19, Oleander, Nerium oleander. Drive through any older neighborhood in the South or Southwest, and you'll still see the remnants of America's love affair with oleander. These evergreen shrubs with their fragrant pink, white, or red flowers were the go-to choice for property borders and decorative hedges. Families planted them around their homes, schools, and playgrounds, creating beautiful barriers that were actually death traps waiting to spring. Every single part of oleander is so toxic that even burning the branches releases poisonous fumes. There are documented cases of entire families getting violently ill just from using oleander branches in their backyard barbecue. One leaf is enough to kill a small child, and the symptoms don't start immediately. So by the time parents realized what happened, it was often too late. Vegetable number 18, yew, Taxus Picata. For centuries, yew shrubs were the foundation of formal American gardens. From New England estates to Midwest farmhouses, these dense evergreen shrubs were shaped into elegant topiaries and hedges that lasted for generations. What families didn't realize was that they were surrounding their homes with one of nature's most efficient killers. Here's the sneaky part about yew. The bright red berries look completely harmless, and the flesh around the seed is actually safe to eat. But inside, each berry is a seed that contains enough poison to stop your heart. Children would pop the berries in their mouths and be fine, unless they accidentally swallowed just one seed. By the 1970s, most states banned yew cultivation near homes and schools. Vegetable number 17, rhubarb leaves, Rhubarbarum. Here's one that might shock you. While rhubarb stalks have been making delicious American pies for generations, the leaves of this common garden plant are toxic enough to kill. During World War II, when food was scarce and victory gardens were everywhere, some well-meaning families tried to make the most of their entire rhubarb harvest by cooking the large, attractive leaves like spinach. Those wartime cooks had no idea they were preparing a potentially lethal meal. Rhubarb leaves contain concentrated acids that can shut down your kidneys and make it impossible to breathe. Today, all commercial rhubarb must have the leaves removed before sale, and gardening guides strongly warn against composting rhubarb leaves where children or pets might encounter them. Vegetable number 16, Jerusalem cherry, Solanum pseudocapsicum. Picture Christmas morning in the 1950s, America. Families gathered around their trees with bright red Jerusalem cherry plants decorating their homes like natural holiday ornaments. These cheerful houseplants were incredibly popular during the holidays, bringing color and life to winter homes across the country. Parents had no idea they were decorating with plants that could kill their children faster than you could unwrap presents. Those bright orange and red berries look exactly like cherry tomatoes, and to a curious child, they seem like the perfect snack. Emergency rooms began seeing a disturbing pattern every holiday season. Children rushed in with mysterious poisoning symptoms while families were still celebrating. The plant that once brought holiday cheer to American homes is now banned for sale in most states. Vegetable number 15, Bittersweet Nightshade, Solanum dulcamara. This climbing vine was once a common sight along American garden fences and trellises, appreciated for its purple flowers and bright red berries that added color to otherwise boring property lines. Many gardeners let it grow wild or even encouraged it, not realizing they were cultivating a member of the deadly nightshade family that could turn their backyard into a danger zone. The name bittersweet should have been a warning. Those bright red berries start out tasting sweet, which encourages you to keep eating, but then turn intensely bitter. Unfortunately, by the time you taste the bitter part, you've already swallowed enough poison to cause serious problems. Today, it's classified as a noxious weed in most states, and property owners are required to remove it. Vegetable number 14, white snake root, Agaritina altissima. Here's the plant that killed Abraham Lincoln's mother and thousands of other Americans in one of the most insidious ways imaginable. White snake root looks like nothing special, just another weedy plant with small white flowers that you might find growing along garden edges. But this innocent-looking plant was responsible for a mysterious illness called milk sickness that terrorized American families for decades. The truly diabolical thing about white snake root is that it doesn't kill you directly. Instead, it poisons the cows and goats that eat it, and then you get poisoned when you drink their milk or eat their meat. For decades, entire communities lived in fear of milk sickness, with families getting weaker and sicker over weeks with no understanding of what was killing them. Vegetable number 13, Pokeweed Berries, Phytolacca americana. We talked about pokeweed earlier, but those dark purple berries deserve special attention because American families use them for everything from food coloring to homemade wine. Grandmothers would crush pokeweed berries to color their jellies and jams, and some rural families even fermented the berries into wine for special occasions. They had no idea they were creating concentrated doses of poison. The berries were especially tempting to children because they looked exactly like wild grapes and grew in similar clusters. One documented case from the 1940s involved a family reunion in Kentucky where grandmother's famous pokeweed berry pie sent 12 people to the hospital. 3 didn't make it home. Today, pokeweed is banned in most states, and any gardener who finds it should remove the entire plant immediately. Vegetable number 12, Bloodroot, Sanguinaria canadensis. Bloodroot was once the darling of American woodland gardens, prized for its delicate white spring flowers and distinctive lobed leaves. The plant got its name from the bright red sap that bleeds from broken roots and stems, a sap that should have been nature's warning sign to stay away. That distinctive red sap contains concentrated poison that can burn right through your skin like acid. Even tiny amounts can cause severe chemical burns, and if it gets in your eyes, it can cause permanent blindness. One case involved a woman who tried to treat a mole with bloodroot paste and ended up with a hole burned completely through her cheek. Today, bloodroot is banned from cultivation in most residential areas. Vegetable number 11, Mayapple, Podophyllum peltatum. The mayapple, with its distinctive umbrella-like leaves and single white flower, was once a common sight in American woodland gardens. Some brave souls even ate the yellow fruit, believing it was a wild delicacy that Native Americans had safely consumed for centuries. What they didn't understand was that traditional preparation methods were crucial for safety. Every part of the Mayapple, except the ripe fruit pulp, contains poison so concentrated that it's now used in cancer chemotherapy drugs. The real danger came when well-meaning gardeners began cultivating Mayapple in their herb gardens, harvesting the roots to make homemade remedies without understanding the complex traditional preparation methods. Today, Mayapple cultivation is banned in most states. Vegetable number 10, horse nettle, Solanum carolinense. Don't let the name fool you. Horse nettle isn't related to stinging nettle at all. It's actually another member of the deadly nightshade family that was once tolerated in American gardens. This spiny plant with purple flowers and bright yellow berries was sometimes grown as a curiosity, with some folk traditions claiming it had medicinal value. Those cheerful yellow berries contain the same type of poison found in deadly nightshade, and they remain toxic even after they dry up and fall to the ground. What made horse nettle especially treacherous was its spiny stems. Kids would get painful puncture wounds from the thorns, then accidentally get plant poison in the wounds. Today, horse nettle is banned from cultivation in all 50 states. Vegetable number 9, bitterroot, Louisia rediviva. Bitterroot holds a special place in American history as Montana's state flower and a traditional food source for Native American tribes. But when non-indigenous gardeners began growing it and trying to prepare it as food, they discovered why it's called bitterroot the hard way. Early settlers had no idea that safe preparation required specific traditional techniques passed down through generations. The root contains bitter compounds and potential toxins that require extended boiling, drying, and sometimes fermentation to neutralize. When settlers tried to prepare bitterroot like regular root vegetables, they often experienced severe poisoning with violent stomach cramps and uncontrollable vomiting. Today, while it still grows wild in the Northwest, it's illegal to cultivate in most states. Vegetable number 8, wild parsnip, Pastinaca sativa. Wild parsnip seems like it should be harmless. After all, regular parsnips are a common root vegetable. But wild parsnip, which often escaped from cultivation and spread across America, developed much higher concentrations of dangerous chemicals than its domestic cousin. Many gardeners allowed wild parsnip to grow along their property borders, not realizing they were cultivating a plant that could cause horrific injuries. Wild parsnip contains chemicals that cause severe burns when the plant juices contact your skin and are then exposed to sunlight. These aren't ordinary burns, they're chemical burns that can leave permanent scars. The worst part is that the burns often don't appear immediately. So you might work in your garden all morning, then spend the afternoon in agony as mysterious blisters appear all over your arms and hands. Vegetable number 7, giant hogweed, Heracleum mantagatianum. If wild parsnip is dangerous, then giant hogweed is absolutely terrifying. This massive plant, which can tower 14 feet tall with leaves spanning 5 feet across, was once the crown jewel of American botanical gardens and wealthy estates. During the early 20th century, having giant hogweed in your garden was like having a natural skyscraper that made every visitor stop and stare. But giant hogweed contains concentrated chemicals that make wild parsnip look like a minor skin irritation. Contact with this plant's sap causes third-degree burns so severe that victims often require skin grafts and can cause permanent blindness if it gets in your eyes. Today, giant hogweed is classified as a federal noxious weed, and growing it can result in criminal charges. Vegetable number 6, poison hemlock, Conium maculatum. This is the plant that killed the philosopher Socrates, and it was once commonly found growing unnoticed in American gardens and herb patches. Poison hemlock looks innocent enough: delicate white flowers, fern-like leaves, and a pleasant smell that doesn't warn of danger. Many gardeners unknowingly allowed it to grow among their herbs and vegetables. Every part of poison hemlock contains poison that attacks your nervous system, causing paralysis that starts in your feet and works its way up until you can't breathe. The truly terrifying part is that you remain conscious throughout the entire process. There's no antidote, and the roots look like parsnips, while the leaves resemble parsley, leading to tragic cases of mistaken identity. Vegetable number 5, deadly nightshade, Atropa belladonna. The name says it all. Deadly nightshade doesn't pretend to be anything other than what it is. But during the 19th and early 20th centuries, some American gardeners actually cultivated this European import, drawn by its reputation in folk medicine and its striking dark purple berries and bell-shaped flowers. Deadly nightshade contains some of the most potent plant toxins known to science. Just a few berries can kill an adult, and the berries actually taste sweet at first, encouraging victims to eat more before the bitter aftertaste kicks in. One documented case involved a family who made tea from nightshade leaves. All 4 family members died within 24 hours. Today, deadly nightshade is illegal to grow anywhere in the United States, and possession can result in criminal charges. Vegetable number 4, Manchanil tree fruit, Hippomane manzanilla. While technically a tree rather than a garden vegetable, Manchanil was once cultivated in southern Florida and Hawaii by settlers desperate for fresh fruit in tropical climates. The fruits look like small green apples and smell sweet and inviting, nature's cruelest joke, because they're actually some of the most toxic fruits on Earth. Early American settlers planted these trees in their yards, not knowing they were cultivating what's often called the world's most dangerous tree. Every part of the Manchanil tree is extremely toxic, but the fruits are particularly deadly. They contain poison that causes severe burns to your mouth and throat, followed by internal bleeding that can kill you within hours. Even standing under the tree during rain can cause severe burns. After numerous deaths, Manchanil cultivation was banned throughout the United States in the 1950s. Vegetable number 3, Rosary pea, Abrus precatorius. Rosary pea was once a beloved ornamental vine in American gardens, grown for its delicate pink flowers and incredibly beautiful seeds. Those seeds, bright red with black spots, were commonly used in jewelry making and children's crafts. Many families grew rosary peas specifically to harvest these decorative beans, and children often collected them to make necklaces or use in art projects. What nobody realized was that those pretty seeds contain one of the most deadly toxins known to science, more potent than cyanide. A single seed, if chewed or crushed, contains enough poison to kill an adult human. One case involved a craft class where children were making jewelry with the seeds. Several children bit them to make holes for stringing, and 3 ended up fighting for their lives in the hospital. Vegetable number 2, suicide tree fruit, Cerbera odolam. The name should tell you everything you need to know, but the suicide tree was occasionally cultivated in American botanical gardens during the early 20th century. Some adventurous gardeners in Florida and California attempted to grow these exotic trees, attracted by their fragrant flowers and tropical appearance. The fruits look remarkably like small mangoes and actually smell quite appealing. The fruits contain poison so potent that it's been called the perfect murder weapon, because it's nearly impossible to detect and mimics natural heart failure. Even small amounts can cause fatal heart problems within hours. Several mysterious deaths in Florida and California were eventually traced back to suicide tree fruit consumption, leading to an immediate ban on cultivation throughout the United States. Vegetable number 1, angel's trumpet, Brugmansia species. At the top of our list is angel's trumpet, a plant that was once the pride of American gardens in warmer states. These South American natives were beloved for their spectacular hanging flowers that could reach nearly a foot in length, blooming in white, yellow, pink, or peach. The flowers opened in the evening, releasing an intoxicating fragrance that filled entire neighborhoods with their sweet scent. But Angel's trumpet contains some of the highest concentrations of mind-altering poisons found in any plant on Earth. These compounds cause terrifying hallucinations, complete loss of reality, and often death. The toxins can be absorbed through your skin just from handling the plant, and even breathing the flower fragrance for too long can cause poisoning. Today, growing, selling, or possessing Angel's trumpet is illegal in all 50 states, and it's classified as a controlled substance in many areas. These 25 dangerous vegetables remind us that not everything that grows in the ground is safe to cultivate or consume. From pokeweed that fooled generations of Southern families to Angel's trumpet that turned beautiful gardens into death traps, these plants show us why modern gardening regulations exist. Our grandparents and great-grandparents often grew these deadly specimens without knowing the risks, but thanks to advances in medical science and plant safety research, we now know better. If you found this eye-opening look at America's most dangerous vegetables as shocking as I did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating stories about the hidden history of American agriculture. And don't miss the next video on your screen where I reveal the surprising truth about common garden plants that are actually more dangerous than you think. You might be growing some of them right now without even knowing it.